It's okay to move from the UK to the USA and be happy. It's okay to have good experiences within the USA. And I know that's not what people expect. I know when I first told people we was moving to America, there was a lot of negativity, and a lot of it does stem from the media. What every other country is saying about America gives everyone a preconceived expectation of what they think America is going to be like. It's okay to come here and love it. It's okay to come here and love everything that America has to offer, and everything that comes with living in America. As you can tell from my videos, I love America. America is everything that you expect and more. Once you come to America and you experience America, whether it's on holiday, vacation, or moving to this country, that's when you really start to see the real America, and you start to realize that maybe what the media have told you isn't necessarily true.
It's my last few hours in America, so I had to go for one last time for the month to be my last hour in America. I need to get one more. I had to get a waffle for the last hour while I'm in here. Yes, it's drenched in butter. Yes, it's drenched in syrup. The last one. Let's try it. It's better. It's so good.
America, can we talk about how amazing your customer service is? I just ordered an online order, a Starbucks drink, a Frappuccino, a caramel Frappuccino, and I had like lots of options, like things I'd changed on it, whatever. Anyway, I went in and picked it up. I had a sip and I'm like, this literally, I can't taste any caramel in it, like not what I ordered. And like, I hate being that person that like complains or like returns or whatever, but I'm like, it's America. This is like their specialty. So I go back into Starbucks and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but this is just not tasting, I don't know if it's changed or however you make this drink, but I'm not tasting any caramel in it. Usually there's caramel drizzle on it. There's no drizzle. Like I think you forgot the cold foam. Anyway, took it, threw it out. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me make you another one. And he's made me another one, and it just looks spectacular. So I'm so excited to drink it. But I just freaking love how they just always, the customer is always right. You can never go wrong as a customer. I tell you, in Australia, I tried to do that, then like, no, not happening. You just don't return. You just don't return, especially food, beverages. Like you don't return unless there's something seriously wrong with it. You just wouldn't go and return a coffee like that. Just wouldn't happen.
And so the rumors are true. Europeans only hate America because they've never actually been there. For years, you couldn't scroll through social media without seeing a European telling you how bad America is. The food is trash, the people are fake, the culture is shallow, no healthcare, no vacation days. And honestly, I used to just let that slide. And as a European myself, I was in their shoes. And let me tell you, the World Cup comes in the US and all of a sudden millions of Europeans who've been talking down on this country their entire lives show up. And you know what happens? Well, they lost their minds, but in a good way. The stadiums, the energy, the fans, the food, the hospitality of Americans, video after video of Europeans saying, I had no idea it was like this. Americans are actually so nice. And they saying that they've been in the wrong place all their lives. Funny. And again, I'm not saying America's perfect. It's not. But the World Cup just proved something really simple. You cannot have a strong opinion about a place you've never been to. Leave your hometown, explore, because I genuinely think the World Cup taught us all something. The only way to find out how good something actually is to go experience it yourself. And for a lot of Europeans, America just changed their entire worldview in 90 minutes. So, Europeans, tell me I'm wrong.
So the media portrays America as this dystopian land of guns, greed, and McDonald's. But as a Canadian that moved here 3 years ago, My experience has been completely different. Watching all the World Cup tourists absolutely fall in love with America right now reminds me of how I felt and still feel when I first came here for part of my medical training. This country just has an abundance of diversity, opportunity, and kindness that I've honestly never felt anywhere else. I live in LA, and if you drive 10 miles in any direction, you'll be plunged into a different, totally vibrant subculture. And people will genuinely connect with you here, beyond just a hello. Whether it's the groceries, festivals, the park, staff at grocery store come up to me and ask me, is there anything I can help you find? And the sheer scale of what you can do here, whether it's tech, medicine, creative industries, is unmatched. In America, you can basically be whoever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. And not only is that normal, but people will actually cheer you on. It sounds cliche, but living in America has made me realize how good everyday Americans are and how lucky they are. I think America might be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, countries on earth, even if the internet can't admit it.
Americans, my honest opinion of Chicago after visiting it for the first time ever yesterday. And let me just start off by saying the comments that we got when we said we were going to Chicago were all negative. Lots of people saying, don't go. And honestly, guys, it may have been one of the best cities I have ever visited. It blew my mind. The architecture in that city is like something I have never seen before. It must be one of the most visually spectacular cities in the world. Seriously, unbelievable. I loved it there. Every 2 minutes, my head was just on a swivel. I was like, wow, look at that building, look at that building, look at that building. It was amazing. If you ever get the chance to go to Chicago, please do. Don't listen to other people's reviews on it. Go and find out for yourself, because me and Shana thought it was one of the best cities we have ever visited, and we only scratched the surface. One of the most amazing things, though, is just the architecture. Every single building is so unique and so special in its own right. My neck is hurting from the amount of looking up I did. Chicago, what a treat. Thank you.
So many of you reached out after my last video that I had to say this one more time. The media has been lying to you about America, and the World Cup just proved it. For years, European and Canadians have been fed the same narrative. America is dangerous, Americans are ignorant, the culture is shallow, the food will kill you, and people believed it. Why? Because they saw it on the news. They read it online, they never actually went. Then the World Cup came, and millions of people who had never set foot in the US suddenly showed up. And you know what they found? Friendly people, incredible energy, stadiums that blew their minds, hospitality they didn't even expect. Video after video of Europeans and Canadians saying, I had no idea, I was completely wrong, this is nothing like what I was told. And that's exactly the problem. The media doesn't profit from you having a good experience. It profits from fear, division, outrage. A Canadian family having the time of their life in Texas doesn't get clicks, you know? A crime story does. So that's all you ever see. That's all you ever hear. And slowly, without even realizing it, your entire worldwide view gets shaped by people who want you to be afraid. And look, in my opinion, the World Cup didn't just bring football to America. It accidentally broke the most powerful propaganda machine in the world, because people finally went and saw it for themselves. So stop letting a screen decide what you think about a place. Go experience it, because I promise you the truth is always different from what they're selling you. Always.
So on my video about milkshakes, I kept getting told to try out malts, but frozen custard as well. And I found a place that's just down the road from me that does frozen custard apparently. So we're just going to try it out, shall we? So here we got a Culver's frozen custard. Yeah, it's got vanilla custard, brownie pieces, cheesecake bits, and salted caramel, because those are the three things that I quite fancy, you know what I mean? I've got a proper sweet tooth, me. Looks like ice cream, seems like ice cream. The boy had a little spoonful and he approved of it. But let's give it a go, shall we? That's decent. It's nice, but it's ice cream. That's exactly what it is. It's ice cream. Nice recommendation. I'll try the malt next, but it's ice cream breath. Other than malts, what else is there that I should be trying out down here in the fucking South? Because I actually haven't tried that much, mate. Once I find something I like, I just fucking stick my guns, you know, I just fucking stick to that. But I'm open to it. Let me know. I'll try it out.
Americans, you were right. This heat is no joke. I've just been to the Atlanta Fan Fest and look at me. I look like a state. It is bad. I was stood in the shade and I was sweating profusely down my back. Honestly, don't know how I'm gonna survive this summer. If you have any suggestions, throw them in the comments. And if you wanna see my adventures in the US, drop me a follow.
Thank you guys for watching this video, and today we want to talk about this content, and we want to talk about why so many visitors change their mind about America. Right now, imagine for a second if everything you knew about America came from social media. Let's say the news, headlines, and let's say the viral clips. You'd probably think the country was on the verge of collapse. There is crime, there is political division, economic problems, and let's say the cultural conflict. That's the version of American millions of people around the world see every single day. But here is the interesting part. Every year, millions of tourists arrive in the United States expecting that version of America. And many leave saying, oh, this isn't what I expected at all. So why is there so much such huge gap between the American people see online and the American many visitors experience in the real life? So let's talk about this video, about it in the comments below. But before that, I'd like to give more people the opportunity to talk about this video, and I'll come back here and give more experience about this. This is the business of bad news. And one thing we have to understand is that negativity sells, and it sells even in Africa here. So whether it is television news, online media, or the social media algorithm, dramatic stories get more attention than the ordinary one. We have to be very, very sincere about that. So a headline about millions of Americans going to work, helping their neighbors, and living normal life doesn't generate a click. But let's talk about conflict. That's why the most extreme events often become the face of an entire country. So since America is one of the most influential nations on earth, everything that happens there receives enormous global attention. We talk about political argument, we talk about the protest, we talk about the tragedy, we talk about every controversial event gets amplified across the world. So eventually, many Americans begin believing those headlines represent everyday American life. But headlines rarely tell the whole story about America. So there is then the reality which takes over, like the visitors who actually came to visit America due to World Cup. They experienced something completely different. And one of the biggest surprise people mention is how friendly Americans can be. Whether it is strangers making small talk, restaurant staff checking in, or let's say the neighbors offering help, visitors often describe America as more open and approachable than they have expected. And of course, the experience vary depending on where you go. But this theme appears again and again. Then there's the scale. And American supermarkets, shopping centers, highways, restaurants, and let's say the national parks often leave a first-time visitor genuinely amazed. So people who expected a country in decline instead find incredible variety, convenience, and let's say the choice they simply weren't expecting. It is not that America is perfect. It is that reality is much more complicated than the picture painted online. So this is about the opportunity looks and that different persons. The many visitors also began noticing something that was less obvious. They see a culture that encourages people to start business, switch cars, invent products, or pursue ambitious goals. And for some travelers, especially those coming from the countries with heavier regulation or the slower economic growth, that entrepreneurial spirit stands out. And they began to understand why so many people from around the world still dream of moving to the United States. Yes, America has a problem, and every country does. But millions continue choosing America because they believe that the opportunity outweighs the challenges, and that an important perspective that's often missing from online discussion. So we have to talk about the experience, which also beats the algorithm. And perhaps one of the biggest lesson isn't really about America. It is about how we consume information. And you know, algorithms don't reward the balance; they reward emotion. And the more shocked, angry, or fearful people become, the longer they stay online. So that creates a distorted picture of reality, not just about America, but about almost every country. So travel as a way of correcting those distortions, meeting real people, exploring different cities, and experiencing a culture firsthand often reveals a far more nuanced story that social media ever could. So what am I saying is this, that none of this means America is perfect. It isn't. Like every nation, it faces serious challenges and ongoing debate. But reducing a country of more than 340 million people to a collection of viral headlines doesn't help anyone understand it. The experience shared by countless international visitors remind us of something that is very much important. And sometimes the best way to learn about a place isn't through the algorithm or let's say the television screen. It is by getting on a plane, walking the streets, talking to people, and seeing it with your own eyes. Because reality is almost more interesting and far more complicated than the internet will have you believe. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments, have you ever visited a country that turned out to be completely different from what the media had led you to expect? I'd love to hear from you, and I'd also love to hear your story in this video.
People think that we're crazy for moving our family of 5 from Canada to the US. We've heard it all. Why would you leave Canada? What about healthcare? What about safety? But here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Every country has trade-offs. We're not chasing perfect. We're choosing what gives our family the best shot long term. More control, more opportunity, more upside. That's the decision. And we're documenting everything as we go.